welcome to your new home. Today I'm going to be showing you how to use and maintain the fireplace, which is a Stuv Compact 30. You can also find some more tutorials and maintenance videos on YouTube if you have any questions. Also feel free to contact the agent if you have any issues with anything. I've left a few items to maintain the fireplace and we'll give you some of the tips and tricks that I've learned along the way. First of all, we'll jump into the design. As you can see, this is broken into two sections. You have the top, which is the main area where you create the fire. Then there's the bottom area, which houses the ash compartment. You have the air flow control on the front, so if it's all the way to the right, that is fully open. You want it in this position to start the fire, and then once the fire's been going for about an hour, it's fully ignited, you can start to adjust the flow control. Reducing airflow will obviously slow the burn down, and it's good for if middle of winter where you want to have the fire going for quite a few hours. You can open this compartment just with a little lift. The fireplace is a very, very simple design, but very well made. So here, the silver basket is the ashtray. This can be removed by putting your finger on the tab at the bottom, lifting gently, and then sliding forwards to remove completely. I recommend disposing of the ash in the green recycle bin at the front of the house instead of emptying in the rubbish bin. Obviously, as you dispose of this, the ash is very fine and can go in the air, so it can create a bit of a mess. So definitely recommend going straight outside and throwing it in the green recycle bin. If you're using the fireplace every day, then you'll probably need to empty the ash container about once a week. But if you find you're using the fireplace once or twice a week, you can empty it around once a month. Obviously every now and again, just have a look inside to see how full it is and whether you need to dispose of the ash or not. To empty the ash, the fireplace has a design on it where you can essentially drop the ash from the compartment here into the bottom, and this is done by this metal tab here. So the fireplace does come included with this device, which is essentially all you need to operate this fireplace, and I'll show you its different uses throughout this video. So to remove the ash, use this section here, which simply slides in and then pulls back and forth. As you do this, you can see inside that it's moving the coals and the ash around, and if you do this for 1 or 2 minutes, you'll see that the ash slowly drops down into the bottom. Very simple and easy design. This tool on the other end is also used to close the door. Once we shut the door here, you simply insert this end into the metal opening here, push the door closed, you'll feel a slight resistance, and then simply turn about 90 degrees, and now you'll see the door is fully secured. To open, simply repeat in reverse, and the door will open. I will now show you how to set up the fireplace to give you the optimum burn, as well as reducing any smoke inside the property. you want to start with some kindling and a few larger pieces of wood. For general burning, always recommend iron bark. This will give you the hottest and the longest burn. Bear in mind that this is a smaller fireplace, so you will need to get split logs. You can buy bags from Bunnings. This does work out quite expensive, so you can also use local suppliers that will deliver wood to your house. Definitely make sure you're using correct firewood that's been dried and treated. Again, this will make sure that the fireplace is maintained and also reduce smoke and give you the best possible burn from the fireplace. So I always like to spend a few minutes preparing the fireplace by getting a few bigger logs. For example, pieces like this. You can see it's just slightly bigger than my hand, but this is the type of size wood that you want to use in the fireplace. Anything bigger will just really struggle to burn. So there are different ways that you can set up a fireplace, and feel free to do your own research and play around with different methods, but this is what I've found to work the best. I like to put some of the larger pieces on the bottom, then my fire lighters, and then my kindling wrapping around that. So I'll start by placing one large piece flat at the back bottom of the fireplace. This is good to create a bit of a bed for the fire. Before we actually jump into creating the fire, I'm actually going to show you how to maintain the glass. Obviously once I've started the fire, I won't be able to do that because it'll be too hot. But as I mentioned, I did leave a couple of items. What I've found as the best method to clean this glass are these pads and metal wire sponges, which you can buy from Bunnings, but I've left the original and also a spare. I've been using this for about 3 years and it still works fine. This works extremely well to clean the glass on this panel. As you can see, it's a very small piece of glass. All you simply need to do is get the wire metal end and rub it on the glass up and down a couple of times, and you'll start to see the soot and the ash build up, disappear. And as simple as that, that has basically now been cleaned. You'll find that when you create really hot, clean fires, so using really good quality wood like iron bark, the glass won't soot up too much, and even when it does, it'll actually clean very, very easily. Now, you can buy sprays and things like that from Bunnings to clean fireplace glass. I highly recommend not to use that, and I ask that you please avoid using it. It'll actually discolour the glass and create almost like a rainbow effect on it, which obviously won't look very nice for you. And like I said, been using this fireplace for 4 years now, and it's very easy to maintain if you use the proper method and equipment. So I'm just going to close this door now and show you the special trick essentially this fireplace has. So it actually has 3 different modes. At the moment this is now on what they call the night mode, and also what you use to start the fireplace. Again, taking this tool that's provided, using this end, you can simply drop into this slot here and rotate the fireplace. You always have to rotate the fireplace in this direction. It will not rotate and can break if you try and do it in the other direction. So now you'll see that we're in what we call open fireplace mode. So this allows you to have a beautiful fire, an open fire, which is really fantastic. Obviously, only use this if you're present in the house and if you're within the room. Obviously, never leave a fire unattended. Again, you can use this metal wire pad for the top piece of glass, and again, the door opens exactly the same way if required when cleaning that glass. Next, there is the third and final mode. Again, we rotate same direction, same way. And this is the closed mode with the full glass surround. So this is perfect for if you've got a fire going and you're maybe in and out of the room, if you have guests over or if there's children around. This will obviously make sure the fire is contained. Obviously in the open mode it is a fire. You can get wood that pops, so you can get hot embers that can come out. So again, bear in mind if you do have any rugs that are close to this, bear that in mind. Possibly move the rug or flip the rug back if you are using the fireplace in open mode. Just be very mindful and cautious of it. Again, this opens in the same way. If you need to refuel or add more wood. But again, it's very easy, as you can see, to rotate the fireplace, and you can actually rotate the fireplace while the fire is going, which is fantastic. So again, you might have it on open mode for a couple of hours, but then decide you need to go out. That's not a worry. You can simply come and rotate the fireplace to the closed mode. If you're ever leaving the house, going out, I always recommend to put it on night mode, because obviously glass does ash up and get dirty, and obviously the fun part isn't cleaning it. So leaving it on that closed mode reduces the amount of ash and soot that will build up on the glass, and just makes it easier for you to maintain. And obviously if you're not around, you're not going to be seeing the fire, so having it on night mode doesn't make much difference. Again, before you go to bed, always suggest putting it on night mode. You don't have to, but again, it just reduces the amount of soot and black that will come on the glass over time. Now, to clean this glass, this wire pad isn't sufficient enough, but it's actually really, really easy to clean. So all you have to do is get a bowl of cold water, maybe about 200 mils, 300 mils. Get some paper towel, some kitchen paper. All you have to do is dab the kitchen paper in the water to get it a little bit wet. And then, interestingly enough, you can actually dab that wet bit of paper into some of the ash, and then actually rub the ash into the glass. You'll be really surprised how well it'll actually get off black stubborn stains and clean up that glass. So don't worry or be afraid that the ash is going to scratch the glass. It won't. It's actually a very natural and very safe way to clean fireplace glass. The ash actually breaks down the soot that's in there. So with the paper towel, you can clean all over the glass. Doesn't need to be super wet, just a little bit damp. Rub it all in, you'll see that ash all coming off and the soot coming off, and then you can simply grab a clean piece of kitchen paper, wipe down the glass. Then if there's any little marks left or stains, or if you're not completely happy, just repeat that process one more time, and I can guarantee you that glass will be brand new and sparkling afterwards. It's really impressive how it works. And that's simply all you need to do to clean the glass. I do recommend cleaning it obviously before you use it. You don't want to ever clean the fireplace when it's hot, it won't work and you'll hurt yourself. But I also don't suggest kind of cleaning it and then immediately starting the fire, because if the glass is still a little bit wet or damp, it will cling on to that smoke and that ash very quickly. So that's just a tip to bear in mind. Obviously you can start the fire after, it's not a problem, but it is more likely to soot up. Okay, so back to starting the fire. So we'll close this and we will put it in night mode to start. Again, starting the fire is obviously going to be the part which creates the most smoke. So you don't want it on the glass mode or on open mode. You want it on this, what we call night mode. Again, there's nothing really to get dirty inside there. And it's a fantastic way to start the fire. So I've already put one log, a piece of wood in there. I'm now going to get some fire lighters. I highly recommend this brand or this type of fire lighter. Again, you can get this from Bunnings. They look like little balls all coiled up. They burn really well. I'd recommend you only need 2. Once you get a bit of practice and feel comfortable, you can actually get away with just using 1. So I'm going to go ahead and put 2 in just for the purpose of this. And I'm just going to put it in front of the log that I've just put in there. I will lift up the camera just to show you. So you can see I've positioned it like that. Now I'm going to go ahead and get some of the kindling. As I mentioned earlier, you'll see much smaller. This is pine wood. Again, you can buy this from Bunnings. It comes in cardboard boxes. I think it's about 15 kilos you can buy. This works extremely well. I have no issues using this. And I usually use about 5 pieces. But again, kind of play around. As you get more comfortable, you might find something works slightly better for you. So I'm just going to go in and lay these out vertically. Again, the shape of this fireplace, as you can tell, is more in a vertical direction. So typically, even though I put that one log at the bottom laying down, everything else moving forward, I will stand up vertically. I'll show you again how that looks. So you can see I've left enough air gaps throughout, but really kind of covered around and spread the kindling out so it will create a nice flame. I'm still leaving myself enough room in here to be able to light the fire lighters. That's obviously important. But again, preparation is really the key to make a great fire. I'm now going to grab another piece of iron bark. Usually I try and pick the smaller ones. Again, fire is all about grading up. So you start with your smallest to your biggest. So you do want smaller pieces to start the fire. I'll just put this on one side here. And I've got another one as well. So this one is slightly wider, but again, you can still see very thin. And I'll just go ahead and place it on the other side. So as you can see, I've kind of got a wrap effect. So I had that original one laying along the bottom that was quite big. I've got my fire lighters, my kindling wrapping around, and then a few other better pieces of wood on the outside. So the idea here is that the fire lighters will obviously catch the kindling and spread. And then as they're burning, we've got these pieces here ready that will start to heat up and start to ignite as well. So we've really set ourselves up for a beautiful fire here. So I'm going to go ahead and light this, and then what we'll do is we'll shut the door once it's lit, but we won't lock it yet. We'll just leave it open slightly, and this just creates a little bit of air that will pull through and help the fire. Again, always make sure you've got it on high airflow as well when you light the fire. And then really the trick to a good fire is patience. So let's go ahead and light this. Again, just got this fire lighter from Bunnings, works really well. Okay, so that's lit. You can see, no smoke at the moment, burns really clean, these fire lighters. But I can just go ahead and ajar the door. Again, it has touched, so you can hear. You don't need to leave it open like this. That won't get enough fast airflow through. So just ajar it here, but just don't lock it yet. And again, through the little window, you can see how that fire's looking. I'm now gonna leave this fire for about maybe 15 minutes. Obviously you can keep an eye on it and see how it's looking, but I'll leave it for about 15 minutes and then I'll come back and I'll close the door. Once I close the door, that's when the real combustion's gonna happen and the fire will start to heat up very quickly. See you in 15 minutes. So I've just come back to the fire now. It's probably been about 10 minutes and you can already see the flames through the glass there. So I've just gone ahead and shut that door. And I'll just show you that there. So you can see that's all catching really nicely now. And what you'll actually start to hear is that the fireplace will start ticking. Once you close the door, it's going to really start to build up heat pretty quickly. And if you hear the fireplace ticking, that's a really good sign. That's a sign that the fire is burning well and that the fireplace is starting to heat up. Obviously, for safety purposes, I don't recommend touching the fire. Down here will actually always stay cool, which is really great. Then obviously as you work your way up, like this is already too hot to touch. And like I said, the fireplace has been going for only about 10 or 15 minutes. Now you might get excited, especially the first time you use it. Great, the fireplace is going, it's all cool, it's burning great. Let's open the door, let's rotate the fireplace and put it on open mode. I can guarantee you, as soon as you do that, it'll actually smoke very, very quickly. So even though in this situation the fire does look like it's raging, the fireplace is getting hotter, it does need to burn down those bigger logs to create some really good embers to essentially make it superheated inside there. So you want to leave this fire like this in this mode for a good 45 minutes or until you can see that those bigger logs that we've put in have actually really kind of caught fire, burnt down and are really glowing red. This is a really good sign to know that the fireplace is ready. You can then go ahead and put some more bigger logs on. You don't need to put any more kindling on now. You can go ahead and put bigger logs. I'd only ever put 3 maximum, like I showed you before. Again, you don't want to overfill the fireplace. And if you are planning to run the fireplace for the whole day, say it's the middle of winter and a bit cold, you can just put 1 log on at a time, and that's not a problem as well. Otherwise, you will obviously go through quite a lot of wood. When you put the new wood on, again, you probably want to leave it in this mode for 5 or 10 minutes, make sure that those logs catch really nice, and then you can go ahead and put it on the open mode. So I'm going to leave this now, leave it, like I said, for about half an hour, 45 minutes, just keep an eye on it, see how it's tracking along, and then we'll come back for one final view, just to show you how I put some new logs on and how I kind of rotate it into the other modes as well. And then this should give you all of the information you need, not only to maintain the fire, but also create some really fantastic fires moving forward as well that you will enjoy. Like I said, patience is really the key with fireplaces. We've had no smoke why we've done this, yeah, we'll have some really great fires. See you in about 30-45 minutes. Okay, so that fire's been burning beautifully for about 30 to 40 minutes now. As you can see, still lots of flames in there where the fireplace has been closed and really getting that combustion up. If we try and look a little bit closer in there now, you can see that everything is caught. There's some really nice glowing embers in there. So while I was waiting, I just went and got some more wood, a couple more pieces. Just gonna go ahead and open that door now. Bear in mind it is very hot. You can hear and see how well that's all burning. It's telling me that it's ready for some more wood. I just keep essentially a spare stick with a piece of kindling that I've just been using for a few years now. This is great to move the pieces of fire around. Not much needs to do in there, and I can go ahead and put some more wood in now. Just going to go ahead and shut that door. Again, giving it maybe 5 minutes just to catch those pieces alight, and then I can go ahead and rotate the fireplace to either put it on open mode or put it on the glass setting. So again, I'll be back in about 5 minutes. Okay, that's been about 5 minutes now, so I can see that those pieces of wood have cooled really nicely. You can still see lots of flame in there. Obviously, if anything doesn't go according to plan at any time, so say you start a fire to begin with and the kindling burns but the logs don't catch, you will need to think about restarting that process, and that might just be adding some more kindling, maybe moving a few of the pieces around. Again, just being patient, making sure that each step is working correctly and you're taking the time to do those steps. So I'm going to go ahead now and show you the different modes as I rotate through them. So again, just opening the bottom. The bottom's not hot, it's a little warm, but it's fine to touch. Again, taking the tool provided, and we're just going to go ahead and rotate. So as you can see, all those new pieces that I've put in have caught beautifully. And that fire is burning really, really lovely. Now obviously bear in mind that in the open mode, fire isn't as hot. With the fireplace closed, those really hot embers are probably around 600 plus degrees. And that's obviously going to be its hottest mode. When you open the fireplace up, you're probably closer to around 300 to 400 degrees. The wood actually burns quicker in open mode because when it is closed, you're getting kind of secondary combustion and really burning that wood to its maximum. So again, it doesn't really change how you use the fireplace, just something to be aware of. You can actually hear the fireplace ticking a little bit. This is actually it cooling down from where it's been 600 plus degrees, kind of coming down to those 400 degrees. It's just the metal of the fireplace ticking a little bit. Again, quite cool. But you can see you've got beautiful fire licking up the top. Something else to note is when you're in open mode, the vent on the front that I mentioned, that doesn't actually make any difference because obviously you've got all the airflow through the front. This fire would be fine to leave now and will kind of continuously burn. What I like to do here is kind of let this burn, and then as you can see I've got quite a few logs on at the moment. There's 3 new ones I added and still the one at the back that's burning a little bit there. But in terms of how often to add wood in open mode, I'd probably add 1 more piece in about 30 minutes, and again just keeping an eye on it. You can see there's a beautiful spot kind of right about in there, a gap there, where I'd be thinking about adding another one. But I'll go ahead and put it in the other mode. So again, just rotating. It's nice and smooth, really easy to rotate, and just push and clicks in. And that's now obviously closed mode again, but just with the glass instead. So I'm just going to rotate it around back to the open mode. And you can see that's still burning nice and hot. Burning really, really nicely in there. As mentioned, the wood or the coals can pop from time to time, which means that it can spit out. Obviously there's a nice big hearth here to catch those, but it's something to be mindful of. If you have animals, or if you do have rugs or anything nearby, you might just want to move those out of the way. Again, just being conscious of what's around. And hopefully it's as simple as that. I know this video was a little bit long, but I wanted to take you through all of the features, give you some really hopefully useful tips on how to create a fantastic fire, and obviously how to maintain the fire moving forward. I hope you enjoy. Thank you.